Alright guys, this is Meant Asylum. I'm doing my second build of the season, of the league. This is
I'll have a night
a
out with the lads
Volatile
after
Dead
this one. Can't
Spellslinger.
remember the last time I blacked out.
Currently doing some Heist mechanic right here.
Incoming.
Oh, might want to turn my Spellslinger on. There we go. Alright, so Volatile Dead is probably like my favorite ability in this entire game. I just like the mechanic, I like how it works. I like all the balls of death everywhere.
Not quick,
Um,
not hard.
It's pretty good. So currently, even after the nerf, I find the lockpicking still pretty good. The small currencies it gives you is still pretty nice. I've almost maxed out all of my unveiled mods just from doing these heists because they drop a lot of them. So it's pretty nice. I've gotten a fair bit of currency just doing lockpicking. So I mean, if you're having a hard time making currency, doing your lockpicking heist doesn't really matter the level. Even low ones, you still get some good currency off of them. But to Volatile Dead. So the way this build works is you use one Spellslinger to drop desecration on the ground, and then you use the other Spellslinger to activate Volatile Dead. Cooldown reduction is a must for this build, because without it, it feels really slow and clunky. So not cooldown reduction, cooldown recovery. Currently, defensive-wise, I'm running max block, so pretty beefy, and the build itself maybe costs about, I don't know, like 50 to 100 chaos. It's not really all that much, so it's actually pretty cheap to get started, and it's pretty cheap to do T16 to Conquerors, and then even Cyrus, which I'll be summoning him pretty soon, and I'll make a video about a Cyrus kill. It should be Awakened 6 when I kill him next, so it'll be pretty nice. Right now we're just going through a bit of heist mechanic, a little bit of gameplay, and then I will go ahead and show you all the different gear and stuff like that. So one big thing leveling this build, very clunky. For starting out as a starter, you can use it. It's still pretty strong. It just feels clunky if you're used to playing Volatile Dead at all. Especially if you played Volatile Dead with Poet's Pens. This just feels so clunky in the early stages, because the cooldown recovery rate is so slow until you've leveled up the actual Spellslinger gem, and you get a little bit of cooldown reduction. All you really need is the cooldown reduction from your boots. You don't even need the belt that I have, or the and then gem levels. So cooldown reduction from the gem levels and just the boots alone will make it feel pretty nice. So all you do is just drop it. Now I'm running this as a Necromancer, and what the Necromancer allows me to do is attack retarded fast. Sorry, I probably should say that, but it attacks super fast, and it's very strong, and the ability for this to get these Volatile Deads off about as fast, if not about as fast as Poet's Pens. I think Poet's Pens will honestly be a little bit faster, but I don't think it will do as much damage. The scaling potential is lowered with just using Poet's Pens. Right now I'm currently using Avatar of Fire as well to increase the damage with Zoth's Blood Amulet. All in all, this build so far, I can do T16 maps. I've done, I think, one of the Conquerors so far. I just finished leveling this build this morning. this morning before I went to sleep, I just finished leveling this build.
Never looked
Um,
more lovely. Take us.
and then through the day today, and a little bit more in the morning, I'm already level 86. So the clear potential in this build is pretty insane. The build itself is pretty fast. It's not raider fast, but it's still pretty fast, I would say. All right, so this build. Let me go back to my hideout here, and I will show you all the links and what I've got. So the wand, 20C max. I think this one was only like 10, but for a pretty good one, all you need is flat fire and one level to fire spells. You could also get like T2 spell damage would be pretty much uh, really close in damage. They're pretty much the same. I've had one of each. This one was just a touch more damage than the spell wand I had. Use imbued wand because it's got the fastest attacks per second for the wands. And then you have to keep an open suffix so you can craft on trigger socketed spell when you use a skill. That allows you to use all these 3 abilities without actually casting them. So I've got Steel Skin in here, so I automatically gain that 1900 damage shield every time it's off a cooldown. So I don't have to keep pressing it over and over again. That'll just pop right back up whenever it comes off a cooldown. Bam, there it is. Then I've got Bone Offering to give me block chance with the Ascendancy, and then I've cursed my enemies with Flammability. Now, eventually, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to dual curse. So I'll probably take Steel Skin off and then off of here and put it on like an auto cast. So I'll have to cast that myself, but then I can put 2 curses in here. That would be really good for damage, probably like Elemental Weakness. Or I can get Elemental Weakness on hit ring. That would work as well. So, and then keep Steel Skin in here for late game, you know, more end game buys and end game damage. The Helm, you don't need the 1 additional curse or corpse consumption, but I mean, like I said, Volatile Dead's like my favorite skill, so I got this early because it was pretty cheap until I grabbed this. The base helm anyway though, without the enchant, is literally like 5C, like, or you could just craft it yourself. I just used prismatic fossils on here and got a good roll in life, and I was like, alright, cool. Ended up getting a lot of, oh no, not prismatics. What was it? I think it was aberrant fossils. I was trying to get chaos resist on it, and I ended up with a bunch of life and a bunch of energy shield. Yeah, so I was using aberrant fossils, and well, it ended up coming out to this. So that worked. Wait, was that aberrant? I don't know. Whatever. Still, it's really cheap, easy to do. Fossils right now are stupid cheap, and it's like using a chaos orb on your items, no matter which one you use. Like you could use metallic or whatever, depending on what resist you want on there, and that's a really easy way to get resists and to try for getting whatever kind of life roll or energy shield roll you want. Um, you don't have to run Zoph's Blood. I was running with this amulet here and doing T16, but I just went to my totem guy and just grabbed my amulet off because I had Avatar Fire checked. So the reason I'm running Avatar Fire is like really simple. 1, actually it ended up giving me more damage, and 2, running Fizz Reflect maps because Spellslinger increases your damage, gives you 100% of the damage from your wand. It gave me a lot of physical damage. Even though I have like no physical modifiers on here, the base damage was enough with, especially with this node here. So the spell damage also applies to all my attacks, so it made my frenzy actually do a lot of physical damage, and that hurt in physical reflect maps. So Avatar Fire allows you to do Fizz Reflect maps 100%. This belt is like 10-15C. The shield maybe 10-15C for a good one as well. So just with these two, the most expensive pieces. Alright, like I said, you don't need that. You could just click this and you're still doing the exact same thing. This one just gives you a bit more damage. The 10% pen and then enemies covered in ash, what it actually does is 20% increased damage, and it slows them a bit. So that's all that does. My rings, they don't even have resistances on them. I just wanted max dex rolls and life, and then I went for the chaos bases so I could have some chaos resist without purchasing chaos resist, because purchasing chaos resist is incredibly expensive. So I'm working on just maxing out my chaos resist here, and once that's maxed, I'll be pretty damn defensive. So I have 39% block and 28 for spell. Now, what Bone Offering does with the Ascendancy is increases it to 56. When I pop Rummies, I go up to 75%. Now, the short-term plan is these jewels here. So I'm going to move around my skill tree to slot in these jewels. So if I get Mage Hunter on here, it'll max out on both these jewels. It'll max out my spell block. So that'll be really nice to have. And then the big cluster jewel will just get a bunch more fire damage. It's like having another one of these nodes, except slightly better. Okay, I'll probably take off these points here, probably this area of effect here, and then maybe this node here. And then I'll be able to allocate all of those. And then if I need to, I'll probably take some health from here. Um, and then I'll have all those allocated up there. I just went for minion damage, and we're elemental overload, so it's no crit, which makes it even cheaper because you don't need to get crit chance on your wand. Then you just grab some increased elemental damage, pen here, some more minion damage, and then mostly just life, and then the block nodes. Just grab this block and spell damage here, and the block node here. Um, Early on in the game, if you want to be really tanky, you can grab these glancing blows here, and you'll have your max block really early, really fast. But once you get closer to max block regularly, then I would take this off, because block actually mitigates all of the block damage, all of the damage that it had blocked. But when you have glancing blow, you take 65% of it. So I mean, a 35% damage reduction is really nice when you have really low block, and that's when glancing blow is really good. But the higher up block you get, it's bad when you have already high block chance. So if you have like 50% block, I've found with like rummies or whatever and stuff like that, if you have around 50%, I would take off glancing blows. Only keep it on when you have like, I don't know, probably like 30 and under. And then that makes that really nice, because that way you'll have pretty damn close to max block, and you'll be blocking a lot more of the attacks and gaining that 35% instead of gaining, instead of blocking 35% of the time. You'll block all the time but take 35% less damage. If that makes more sense. I don't know. The chest piece, I think this was like maybe 20C. I just bought the base, and then I just, again, spammed the fossils. So I like to delve, and I was spamming, what was it, metallic fossils? No, I don't know. I was just spamming fossils, just random ass fossils, trying to get some life and chaos resist. Like I said, I was trying to get some on here, didn't quite get it. Got it on here though, a good chaos resist roll, and then because of heist and stuff, I was able to get this max life craft pretty quick. So the chest's actually pretty defensive, so it's nice. It's actually got a little bit lower on the health side than I'd want, but it it's got all the chaos resist and stuff that I need as well, so it's good. Um, if you're using the Wise Oak, then you just gotta make sure your fire resist is the highest. So just make sure after using potions or whatnots and stuff, your fire resist ends up being the highest. And that way you'll get that extra 14% pen. Um, so for the rest of the jewels, the rest of the sockets, Flame Dash, Foul Righteous Fire, Increased Duration. The actual main link is Volatile Dead, Hypothermia, Spellslinger, Spell Cascade, Concentrate Effect, and Elemental Focus. On my boots, I just grabbed some Evasion boots just because they were all green. Makes it really easy. Life, some resist, even though you don't really need too much resist because of your Ascendancy and just the tree itself. right here. 30 all resist here. This gives you all resist here. You got all resist up here. You got all resist over here. Yeah, there it is. There. I mean, there's a lot of nodes that give you a lot of resistances, and those mixed with the ascendancy with the extra 30, it makes it pretty easy. So I don't even have any resistance on my belt or shield. I don't have resistances on my rings other than the base chaos resist. No resist on my Ami. And then I just grabbed cold and chaos resist on a couple of pieces of gear here so that I could have more chaos resist. So eventually I'm just going to get a piece of gear that allows me to max this out, and it'll be even better. So the belt allows you to increase the cooldown time of Spellslinger. So if I take this off, I'm sitting at, Jesus, sitting at 0.43, and when I put this on, it goes down to 0.38. It makes this a lot smoother to run with. Alright, so if you're going for like heavy investment, so like you want, what's the next step I could do? The next step would be getting the correct cluster jewels, which is I think Prism and Doriani's on here. Prism will give you that all resist, and it'll give you the fire damage as well, and then Doriani's will give you fire damage and fire leech for your life. Now on your tree right here, you get fire leech's energy shields, so then you'll have dual leech. Well, when you have those and all the block nodes from there, the mage hunters or whatever from these small passive, small cluster jewels, you'll have good spell block. And then what you can do then is run for high end endgame is run at series and then the Coward's Legacy. So now you're immune to hexes, or unaffected at least by hexes, and you can go over here and allocate Pain Attunement for 30% more spell damage. You will need a perfect 15% roll, because you're going to need as much cooldown recovery as possible. So you're definitely going to need the cooldown reduction on your belt here, and then I would say a level 21 Spellslinger, just to make it feel around as comfortable as it does with just with this belt. And then for the most part, that's the build. Let's see about running what, a T16 map, just so you can see. Terrace, Tropical Island. Yeah, let's go Tropical Island. Haven't done that one in a while. Oh, only have one. Sad day. Hexproof. No. Let's boof them up a bit more. Let's get some more mods. Elemental weakness. Sure, we'll run. So we have what? Less damage? Cool, I like it. That's another thing that the Adzeries will stop. Like, you don't have to worry about any of the curses. The only map mod you can't really do is whatchamacallit, Elemental Reflect. No regen maps are kind of difficult, but you just have to put a mana potion on. I like the Quartz Flask. It gives me I've got it with the stun and block recovery, so that it allows me to, it makes it really nice, and so that I don't get chain CC'd. So this is mapping. The mapping is pretty damn quick. I wanted a nice, bigger open map, just so you can see how it's so much smoother with the recovery. Sure, we'll go to some lights. Slow him down. Volatile Dead is such a good clearing ability. Okay, I was standing Oh, Gemling. So in my gloves, I have Arcanist Brand, Wave of Conviction, Combustion, and Arcane Surge. So that allows us me to even do even more damage. Now I have it on Arcanist Brand so that I can just put it on the enemy and then keep going, as well as give myself that Arcane Surge, because I don't want to have to actually keep casting it every few seconds on the enemy. So it just makes it really easy having it in that brand to keep it going. And it actually does a little bit of damage, which is kind of cool. Like if you look, yeah, gives me just a little bit extra damage. Not much, but just some. Imperial Claw, nice. Alrighty, back to it. Okay. So once I get full block chance for spells anyway, it'll be even tankier. Running the Exile will make me even tankier and give me a bit more damage, but without the cooldown reduction right now, Exile actually still feels a little wanting, I would say. It's just a little slower, so it feels a bit clunky, especially when you're going from this type of speed to going to Exile without any of the increased recovery speed. But this is a T16 map still, so it's not like I'm changing anything. I just bring with me a big giant wave of death. Pop that, and T16 boss is no more. So there you have it. Volatile dead. Costs about 50 to 100 chaos to do that. It's very cheap, very effective, and it's a really good starter. But like I said, the leveling process in the beginning just feels kind of slow and clunky. If you have access to Poet's Pens, I would use those until you get Spellslinger at least to like level 8 or so. Once it hits like level 8, and then you get a decent attack per second wand, then you'll be good to switch over. Other than that, it's meant to sound. Have a good day.